Chapter 110, The Remnants of the Demon Cult, The Coming Storm, The First Embrace. Elsewhere, Chu Shanyu sat cross-legged in the void, her robe fluttering softly, eyes closed. Kangbi in front of her transformed into an iron spike, emitting green-colored sword ki, forming a barrier that shielded her from the illusionary formation set up by the magical Taoist in the sky. Due to her cultivation limit, her physical body could not bear too much power from the immortal sword. Moreover, the divine power employed by the magical Taoist was profound and powerful. It couldn't possibly come from a small sect or faction. It must be of significant origin. At first, she thought the magical Taoist was from the 7 gates of the demon path, as he exuded a violent magic power, extremely similar to the true ki of a demon cultivator. But seeing the formation, she began to question this. Over the past year, she had crossed swords with quite a few demon cultivators and had seen most of their techniques. The magical Taoist claimed to come from the Tao lineage, but his actions were far from it. She categorized him in the faction of the demon path, yet he didn't quite fit with other common demon cultivators. Setting aside her doubts at this moment, to break through the formation, she needed to advance her current state. Only by reaching the Golden Core stage could she defeat this magical Taoist. She had long had the requirements to advance to the Golden Core stage, but she had chosen not to, intending to accumulate more turns. But at this juncture, she couldn't be bothered with that. Keep in mind, before reaching the Golden Core stage, the cultivation speed largely depends on the spiritual root. The spiritual root can transform spiritual ki into magic power. However, once the Golden Core is formed, the cultivation speed no longer depends solely on the spiritual root, but also on the turns of the Golden Core. A Golden Core is the condensed aggregate form of a cultivator's physical and spiritual essence. The number of rotations is a direct representation of the condensed essence of the cultivator. First, second, and third turns are normal Golden Cores, while fourth to sixth turns are considered excellent Golden Cores. However, a Golden Core with 7 or more turns is the most elite one of all. Golden Core, condense. In the void, golden light flourished, and an illustrious Golden Core phantom emerged in her ki-si, as if it were sculpted by the heavens, and engravings appeared on the surface of the Golden Core. 1 line, 2 lines. Bam! Just as Chu Shanyu was forging her Golden Core, the grand formation overhead exploded, dragging her attention towards it. A dragon emerged into the sky, smashing the magical Taoist into the ground in the blink of an eye. The power was beyond her expectations and defeated the magical Taoist directly. But right now, she didn't have time to think, as a Golden Core phantom gradually rose from her ki-si, increasing her aura. The power of the Golden Core steadily radiated out, forming actual energy flows. 7-turn Golden Core. Chu Shanyu quietly murmured at the corner of her lips. Her present state of accumulation could only maintain her at the 7th turn. Although it was a 7-turn Golden Core, classified as an elite Golden Core, she was not very satisfied. Sword come. Her empty hand lifted high, Kangbi transformed into green light and returned to her hand. She moved towards the ground to inspect everything that had just occurred, her spiritual sense constantly scanning. To her surprise, she found Han Ye's figure on the ground. At this moment, Han Ye's arm had transformed into a dragon, its black scales twisting beautifully. He looked formidable, his gaze icy as he slowly approached the magical Taoist. So, it's the demon chart. The magical Taoist in a black robe had blood trickling from the corner of his mouth, facing death calmly with a glint of madness in his eyes. Blessings to the demon cult, ha ha ha. A series of hearty laughter resonated through the mountain forest. What demon cult? Which demon cult? Hanya frowned, hearing nothing of what this guy was saying. The magical Taoist in the black robe was weak, yet his eyes shone brightly as he looked at Han Yi and smiled widely, saying, "Master will come looking for you." Boom! Ash finished his words, his body exploded into a cloud of blood, leaving no trace of bone or body. Han Ye's eyes widened as he quickly took a step forward, getting covered in blood. He wanted to press for some answers, but it was a futile effort. A clone, huh? He didn't sense any remnant of the other's soul or even the nascent soul, which should have escaped. This meant it was only a puppet made out of his blood essence. What kind of existence could create a clone of the nascent soul realm? Simultaneously, Han Yi felt a profound sense of mystery. What is this demon cult? Could it be the Baitian demon sect? Impossible! Didn't the Baitian demon sect vanish 1,000 years ago? While he was puzzled, the black scales on his arm rapidly faded, followed by the terrifying cold power within his body quickly dissipating. Han Yi suddenly lost all strength and collapsed on the ground. His entire arm paled and trembled uncontrollably, hanging dully by his side. He didn't know when it would recover. It seemed that he couldn't easily tap into the power of the demon chart again. The price was too high. Temporarily losing an arm greatly impacted his martial power. He couldn't help but inwardly lament, "You!" A crisp voice broke the silence. Han Yi quickly turned around. He found Chu Shanyu standing behind him, her eyes full of vigilance behind her veil. "Are you actually Hanya?" Hearing this, Han Yi fell into a momentary stupor. "Miss Chu, why do you ask?" Chu Shanyu looked at him very seriously. "Han Yi, I know him. How could he have such power? Are you some demon in disguise? Or are you possessing his body?" Han Yi gave a wry smile, took a deep breath, and calmly said, "Miss Chu, if I were a demon, why would I have saved you? If I was possessed, those demon cultivators at the nascent soul stage all died by my hand. Why would I not kill you now?" Upon hearing this, Chu Shanyu found his argument somewhat reasonable. "Are you really Han Yi? Then how did your strength become so strong all of a sudden?" Han Yi first pointed to his own arm, then to the Kangbi in her hand, explaining, "Everyone has their own secrets. You do, and so do I. Speaking of which, you are the one who has truly improved. Back when we were at the book collection pavilion, you were not as astute as you are now." Hearing Han Yi mentioning their experience at the book collection pavilion, Chu Jianyu's gaze softened. However, when she heard the latter part, her face sank. "Are you saying that I was very stupid before?" No. Han Yi, realizing his mistake, hastily waved his hands. "Miss Chu is intelligent and wise, I can hardly compare." Humph! Just as Han Yi was scratching his head, thinking about how to appease Chu Shanyu, a deep voice of the demon dragon came to his ears. "Kid, 2 powerful auras are heading towards you. They're filled with murderous intent. If you don't want to die, leave quickly. Given your current physical condition, you can't use the power of the demon chart." Upon this warning, Han Yi's face slightly changed. He knew that the commotion here had attracted stronger cultivators. If they carried murderous intent, it meant they were not there to help but to capture them. "We should leave," Hess shouted to Chu Shanyu, brought out his spiritual sword, and prepared to flee. "What's wrong? Summion is coming. I don't know if it's a companion of the demon cultivators or other cultivators, but they're definitely targeting us." Although Chu Shanyu didn't know how Han Yi had sensed it beforehand, she obediently followed him, brought out her flying sword, and quickly left the place. However, as they escaped into the distance on their flying swords, ripples in space started to form around them. An expressionless figure in a Taoist robe appeared on the large cliff top. Bang! Hanya slammed into an invisible wall. Their way forward was blocked, he exclaimed in horror. Spatial solidification technique, what a terrifying divine power. What level of prowess is this? Kid, you're running too slow. Enter the demon chart, maybe you'll still have a chance to live. The nether dragon's voice echoed again, reminding him. At this point, Chu Shanyu also sensed the terrifying aura from afar. It was an enemy she couldn't defeat. She glanced at Han Yi, saw the worry on his face, and took a deep breath. It seems we cannot escape this tribulation. The elder had warned her of a disaster during this journey, but she never expected that despite being prepared, she wouldn't be able to overcome it. Don't give up, there's still a way. Han Yi comforted, and with a twinkle in his eyes, he smiled and said, let's make a bet. If we survive this, you owe me a favor, and you'll have to help me later. How about it? You think you can defeat that guy? Chu Shanyu glanced again at the Taoist figure on the cliff and skeptically asked, just agree to it. Chu Shanyu fell silent for a moment and then slowly said, why should I owe you a favor if I survive? When I saved you before, I didn't make you owe me. For some reason, Han Yi was speechless. He hadn't really noticed that point before. If we can survive, it'll be because my treasure worked. I think saving you twice should be enough to count as one favor. Chu Shanyu thought for a moment, felt that made sense, and so she agreed. Okay, but don't be too unreasonable. Just as her words fell, an invisible giant hand reached out from the void towards the two of them, stirring up a storm. The strong winds caused Chu Jianyu's veil to fly away, revealing her fair face, clear eyes, and lightly reddened lips. Hold on tight. Hania tightly grabbed Chu Jianyu's small hand and held her warm, soft body close, retreating into the heavenly demon nether dragon scroll. The demon light flickered and they disappeared from their location in the blink of an eye. All that was left was the mysterious Taoist grasping at thin air.